Ciao, my name is Daniela Lapenna, and it will be my privilege to guide you through a journey in the history and culture of modern Italy with our Part 1 module, Making Italians. This module introduces students to the history and culture of modern Italy from the struggle for unification to the present day. As the title Making Italian suggests, emphasis is placed on the narratives of identity and community as these developed in Italy across roughly the last 200 years. This is a period characterized by remarkable political and social change. Through a series of lectures and seminars, you will learn about the factors and the people that contributed to the birth of Italy as a nation after centuries of political fragmentation, foreign invasions, and occupation. We shall read books, analyze films and artifacts to give you a foundation in knowledge and a method of analysis. We shall examine the people that led a long and violent unification struggle, those who worked hard to turn a long imagined nation into a real one. Together, we shall look at the changing relationship between the state and its citizens and focus in particular on a number of topics such as the church, the North-South divide, the mafia, emigration, the changes to the Italian family, and the role of women. We shall ask how could a constitutional monarchy coexist with a dictatorship? And we look at how from a dictatorship and the rubble of World War II, a new republican state emerged. We will encourage you to place the history and culture of Italy in a transnational context to make connections, like for instance, between the French Revolution and the Italian unification struggle. We will explore the role of Italian immigration in the making of the United States of America, Australia, and Argentina. We shall assess the ideological affinities between fascism and Nazism, and we shall understand why and how some Italian politicians anticipated political trends and how we can learn from these to understand better the reality that surrounds us all. To do so, we interrogate a variety of cultural products. This ranges from opera to protest songs, from historical documents to works of art and architecture. Alongside these specimens in seminars, we read together a series of carefully chosen texts and films that are matched to particular moments of Italian history. The aim is to link history and culture to provide a solid, disciplinary specific preparation and enable cultural analysis. You will read various textual genres. This year, for instance, we've read novellas such as Boito's Senso, of which we have also analyzed a masterful filmic adaptation by acclaimed director Luchino Visconti. We read a novel, Italo Calvino's The Path to the Spider's Nest, that addresses the issue of the Italian resistance. And then we read a memoir, Primo Levi's If This Is a Man, that focuses on Levi's personal experience of Auschwitz, a book you will never forget. And then we watched and analyzed Luchino Visconti's Rocco and His Brothers, a film that explores internal immigration from south to north in the second half of the 20th century. How will we assess you? We know that a university essay can be a daunting task for a first-year student. In the autumn term, you will submit a formative essay which will not receive a mark, but will receive a very detailed feedback. You will then be asked to produce a reflective report on the feedback you have received, and you will embed lessons learned in an essay that you will submit in the summer term. We also ask you to produce a critical summary of a scholarly article from a range made available to you on a topic of your choice. The aim of the critical summary is to give you the ability to identify the big idea developed in the scholarly articles, to get familiar with the techniques scholars use to achieve their results, and the language used to showcase their findings. This way, we hope you'll be able to use the research out there in a critical way, and with time to be able to contribute to it too. Now, we shall explore a seminar activity that we tried out this year in our seminar series looking at Camillo Boito's Senso, a short novel written in 1882. Then we looked at Luchino Visconti's 1954 film adaptation. For this activity, you will have already read the text and watched the film. As you can see on this slide, there are two pictures. One of them you have already seen in this PowerPoint presentation. This is Francesco Hayez' Il Bacio, The Kiss, a painting that has been regarded as a symbol of Italian Romanticism. We shall compare and contrast this painting to the frame next to it, taken from Visconti's film adaptation, Senso. As you can see from the picture, Francesco Hayez' The Kiss is, of course, a representation of a passionate kiss, and it also represents, however, a reinterpretation of the Middle Ages that is both patriotic and nostalgic. The date of composition of this painting is very important. 1859 is the year of the Second War of Independence. The painting was commissioned by a Milanese aristocrat who was also a patriot involved in underground activities against the Austrians who occupied Milan at the time. The painting at his unveiling was immediately and controversially seen as a powerful symbol of the patriotic ideals of the unification struggle. But what are the elements that endorse this interpretation? With the students, we look at the painting very carefully. The scene represents the imminent farewell between two lovers. But if you look at him more closely, you realize that there is a dagger hidden in his mantle, and this suggests that he is a patriot. However, the most obvious allegory in the painting lies in its color range, which hints at some political changes that involved Italy at the time. In this version, some of the dominant colors are the blue of the woman's dress and the red of the young man's attire, and they both allude to the colors of the French flag. Now the question is, why the French flag? Well, Francesco Hayez, the painter, intended to pay tribute to the French nation that was an ally with Italy in her fight for unification and against Austria, the foreign occupiers. At the time of the painting's composition, in Austria-occupied Milan, people were prosecuted for showing the Italian tricolor flag, and to an extent, hinting at the French flag was seen as less controversial. In class, we also look at the three subsequent versions of this painting that Hayez produced after the unification was well underway in 1861. In these versions, together with the students, we note that the color range becomes more and more patriotic, with dominant colors coming closer to the Italian tricolor, green, white, and red. Now it's time to look at the frame from Visconti's film. Visconti's 1954 film Senso explicitly uses a number of allusions, and now we look at how Visconti uses a pictorial allusion in his film. In this frame, you see the actors exactly replicating the pose of Hayez's most famous painting. However, there is a twist. Set at the time of the Third War of Independence, the war that would annex Venice and the Venetians to Italy in 1866, the story revolves around Livia, an Italian countess who falls madly in love with an Austrian officer. For him, she will betray her husband and the revolution against the Austrian oppressor. As you can see, Visconti uses the best-known painting glorifying the unification struggle to tell a story of political betrayal. Well, I hope that this has piqued your interest, and I'm very much looking forward to meet you in person in September. This is my name, Daniela Lapenna. This is my email address. Please email me to continue the conversation if you want to know more about this module or the Italian Studies program in general. Please follow us on Facebook and on Twitter to get in touch with us or follow us on our activities. Ciao!